As Zoro says, no tree can go to heavens unless his roots reach down to hell. A man feared by all for his strength and bloodlusted personality. Those who truly know him will know his dedication for his goal to fulfill his friend Kuina's promise. He doesn't care for respect for others. He cares for a promise. Any promise. That is truly how Luffy tamed a demon like Zoro, as Luffy promised him a way to accomplish his dream in a meaningful, logical path. And by traveling with the future king of the pirates, he will do so. His spirit is so formidable that people confuse him for the captain, and really, Zoro could be seen as a captain of the Straw Hats. But that's not his goal. His goal is to become the strongest swordsman, and that's by fighting Mihawk. Zoro doesn't accept a scar on his back, as it's a shame for an honorable swordsman like himself. He would rather die in a meaningful way. A man like Zoro, putting aside some of his dreams for his captain, really says a lot about his character. Let's put aside his loyalty for a second and talk about his connection to Hell. Zoro is a king who would risk his life to be the greatest and the most loyal. He does it still, knowing it seems impossible. But for him to not even think this way means he would have to conquer Hell, and for his name to reach the heavens. He would need to take down demons, the ones that use swords in an unswordsman way, like King Fujitora and Shiryu. But the one that sits at the top is the barrier that he hopes to overcome one day. This would surely be a challenge, one that would require him to follow his path of Ashura. Ashura is a god who destroys the darkness of hell and ensures a brighter future for all. In this case, it's for himself, and it only can be done if he's willing to face hardships coming his way. This link to hell is connected strongly through his most recent sword, Emma, the sword that can cut through even the darkest, deepest depth of hell. A sword perfect for Zoro, if those same hardships of Ashura are followed. Emma is an interesting sword, as it refuses to be held by someone who is conflicted with their feelings. And we see it when the sword sucks Zoro's haki. But Zoro didn't see it as a problem, and instead he saw it as a challenge. I feel it's not fair to talk about Zoro without discussing his relationship with Sanji. Despite the strong evidence that Zoro is stronger, people still bring up the idea of who's stronger, and it's primarily due to their strong rivalry. They also contrast each other very well. One focuses on brute strength, using their arm power to wield powerful swords. The other uses their legs to strike at opponents, and focuses more on speed. At the end, Zoro is going to be stronger, similar to how Kaido is stronger than Big Mom. But that's not to take away their rivalry, or Sanji's complete character growth. And with the addition of Jinbei on the crew, the competition becomes bigger. And they will all guide Luffy in a path that will make him the king of the pirates. Every crew has a strong bond with Zoro, in a strength way like Luffy, Jinbei, and Sanji, or in an understanding manner that he shows to Robin and the others. He shows his understanding personality with Tashigi, which reminds Zoro of his friend Kuina. He can sympathize with her in wanting to be a skillful and strong swordsman, despite being a woman. Zoro shows his compassion through tough love and by letting people do things on their own and guide them to do the right thing. Zoro's stern but caring personality allows for moments like the iconic "Nothing Happened," which was a situation where he had to put his life on the line despite Sanji stepping in. Zoro knows it's his duty as the vice captain of the crew to stand first in a threat which could pose problems for the crew and the captain. His loyalty overtook the pain he had to face in order for Kuma to let his crew off the hook. He knew his friends need to be stronger, because arrogance isn't going to help, as seen by his fight with Mihawk. This is the first explicit example on Zoro's priority to his captain over his goal of becoming the strongest swordsman. This is the growth Zoro needed to show that he isn't selfish and would put the needs of the captain first before anything. And this brings up the thought, if his priority is helping Luffy, will he have to face non-swordsmen in a fight for the sake of the crew? And speaking of the future, where will his story go? And that's the question that we will have to wait and see.